Welcome to Live Unashamed, where we pause the show and invite members of our team to talk vulnerably about their own recovery, things they're learning, the resources that are actually working, and what it truly means to live unashamed.
This episode, I'm glad we don't do sponsors because I feel like that's just wrong.
I agree. I mean,
But
why would anybody do that?
I am grateful for a clean drive-thru where I can still get a beverage for $1. Psych, McDonald's, you sold out. You're not $1 anymore. Everyone, don't believe in the lies. Okay. Chris.
Wait, hold on. You know what I love?
You.
Being here with you dope guys. And
Amen.
you know what I love even more? Living unashamed.
Same.
Agree. In fact,
I can't say that.
I wish we sold T-shirts that said that on it, but we do now. What up? Get some merch. So, and hats brought to you by. You know what? Come on in here, Jared. Come have a seat. If you're on the YouTube channel, come on, Jared. Well, I'll wait. We'll make this awkward. So when you're bald or going bald, like me and our friend, so say hi to Jared. Jared runs Unashamed. That's what you don't actually know. We just talk a lot. Look at that hat. Good looking guy right
wow.
there.
He's good looking
That's
right
a
there.
And he's
handsome
living
devil.
unashamed. So
Man of many words.
Yes.
we use the word recovered.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Why do we not use the word recovering?
I think we do still use the word recovering.
Totally.
I think there are people that are recovering, and I think there are people that are recovered.
So what's the difference?
I just went to the Dr. Dre Eminem song. What's the difference between us? There's curse words. We'll move on.
Yeah.
I think this comes down to I think some misnomers about how recovery is talked about. I think there's some recovery cultural language that is used, and I think it's the fundamental belief that I think some people legitimately don't think that they'll ever get healed.
And if they believe that, they're right.
Agree. Yes. So, Chris.
Yeah.
You are from porn, masturbation, and relationships with other women, and all other sexual, we'll use the Becky Hennessy word, shenanigans. Shout out to our friend Becky.
Love you, Becky.
She's got what's her podcast? She's got a good podcast.
Yeah, it's Living Through.
Living Through. Becky
Yeah.
Hennessy.
It's way
Good
good.
podcast.
Yeah, she's great.
When do you have her back on the show? Anyways, Chris.
Yeah.
You are a bajillion years sober.
Right.
Whatever that is. 16?
16 years.
I forget. Okay. So,
A little over 14 years
when I
from
first
masturbation.
met you, you were 5.5 years sober. You're getting old.
Turns out.
Turns out, but you're not as old as James yet.
No.
True story.
James is 49 now.
He's working on it. Oh my. Thanks,
5-0. That's going to be
Thanks,
weird
man.
when you're 5-0. Okay, anyways.
man. Maybe that will coincide with our 150th episode or something. That'd be cool.
Hopefully it doesn't take us. Yeah. We digress. Chris, would you describe yourself as recovering or recovered?
Recovered. 100%. Because it's not. I don't worry about my addiction. It's not a part of my life. I still get temptations. They come in, and they leave just as fast. Because I know what to do when those temptations
Tell
come
me
in.
what you mean by temptations. You mean you're sitting at work bored or at home alone and you're like, man, I'd really like to look at some porn right now.
The temptation comes up.
But wait, then how can you say you're recovered, Chris? Sounds like you're still working recovery.
Because I look at it as like, that's not me anymore. That's not what I do anymore. I deserve better than that. My clients deserve better than that. I'm like, that's just not me. It's not a part of who I am.
Is it just semantics?
No, I think you need to believe it and know in your heart that it is not part of you.
Yeah, yes. I mean, because I guess what I'm saying is, I think people don't like the word recovered because it assumes like a perfection. So I remember sitting with a guy up at boot camp. He was a year sober and just had the belief that at a year sober, I will have arrived. And he's like, nothing changed. And so he felt super depressed, and then shocker, he acts out. So now he has the shame of, and now my year of sobriety that I thought would define me is down the toilet. And so, stuck in, so he believed he was going to arrive somewhere. And the fact that it didn't bear fruit, that arrival, it crushed him. It crushed him from a recovery standpoint and a sobriety standpoint. So, shouldn't we all be afraid of recovered?
No, because like if that guy, maybe his time was acting out weekly, and then now he made it a year in between. That's pretty dope.
Would you say he's recovered or recovering? James, weigh in.
Recovering, right? Still working on developing a recovery lifestyle. And I think this is what, in my, kind of my take on it is that's what really Chris is describing is like, no, I know that I'm recovered when I live recovery. Like, it's just who I am now. Like, you're talking about it from like, this isn't a part of who I am now. I live a life that is conducive to, that has natural consequences of being recovered, of living in recovery. Like, I've made all the changes and necessary changes that the natural consequence of means that I have more power over porn than it has over me.
Yeah, totally.
Is that the difference between
because I still live a life of recovery.
Well,
yeah,
but I still
but
feel
it's a
like
lifestyle,
I'm
right?
But
Yes,
I would argue you don't live a life of recovery. Actually, I'm going to devil's advocate
Okay,
here.
tell me why.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh, yeah.
have a tracking software on your phone that reports what you looked at this week? And like, do you have like ever accountable or covenant eyes on your phone?
No.
Do you?
Not on my computer.
Do you
not
go
on
to
my phone, nothing.
okay, right? So, box number one, where I'd say you are not living a recovery lifestyle. Go walk into a therapist office who does recovery, a CSAT, whoever, or go walk into a 12-step meeting and be like, yeah, I just don't have any filters on my phone because I'm over it, and see what they tell you. So, box number one, I would argue you are not living a recovery lifestyle.
But
Box
I do
number
have plans.
two.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Are you actively participating in a 12-step group?
No.
Box number three, do you go to therapy?
No.
Like for recovery?
Yeah, no.
Because I know our policy is accepted that you're always
Right.
doing your own work.
Right, no.
But are you going saying, I'm here to talk about betrayal, trauma, and autumn, or whether or not I'm going to act out? Or are you doing any therapeutic intervention?
No.
I would argue you were not living a recovery. Like that is what recovery is. If we get on the show and we say, "Here's what you do if you're in recovery," would we not tell everyone to do everything I just said and go to boot camp?
That is part of it. It's not all of it. Because I believe I still live a life of recovery because I have plans in place for when those things do come up. So when I have those temptations come up, what do? I don't be like. I don't.
Wait,
just
but
look
again, I don't think you do. I don't think you have like a plan. I don't think there's like this box. Like I feel like if I call Autumn right now and I'm like, Autumn, what's the recovery plan for Chris if he sees
call her.
something?
I guarantee, if she wasn't sick right now, I would say call her up and ask her. She'd tell you what my plan is.
She would say there's a plan.
She would say there's a plan.
But
I can tell you my plan right now.
But again, I would say I don't think you're living a recovery lifestyle. I think you're recovered ED and you just live a healthy lifestyle.
Which is a recovery lifestyle, in my opinion.
Well,
They're the same thing.
But go on your thing when you say people who are depressed live a depressed lifestyle.
Yeah.
Give us the 30-second on that.
The people that are depressed live a depressive lifestyle, meaning they do isolation. They do
blah 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 blah.
Sure,
blah.
yeah. They live a life where there's a lot of isolation,
Yes.
where instead of having real connection. They get fake connection through phones or
blah blah blah.
they
So
numb
in order
out,
to
whatever.
no longer be depressed, because they're living a depressed lifestyle, if you put a depressed lifestyle on this side of the equation, on the other side of the equation is you're depressed. Right. So they need to live what kind of lifestyle now if they don't want to be depressed anymore?
A recovery lifestyle or a healthy lifestyle.
A healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. What to me, which are one and the same. They need to recover from the old lifestyle.
But recovery world's not saying that.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying there is I think a working definition of what being in recovery means. I'm using air quotes.
Got it.
If you are in recovery, disagree with me. There is a loose definition of someone in recovery and not in recovery. And if you are in recovery, you have a filter on your phone, you have a sponsor, you're going to 12-step, you're going to therapy, you're in recovery. I'm not talking about the 2U. I'm saying the recovery world, I believe, has a working definition of what being in recovery is. I do not think Chris fits in that working definition.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I think to your point, semantics then of recovery lifestyle or a healthy lifestyle, you'd say the more accurate one would just be a healthy lifestyle. That's where you're getting at.
Yes, because I think if Chris walks in somewhere and says, I live a recovery lifestyle in any recovery circle, I think they would say, no, you don't. And I think on the shame end, they would say, you're not headed to your next meeting, you're headed to your next relapse, right? Mm-hmm. They would say, because you're not doing those things, a relapse is waiting for you, which I think you could respond to me like, well, it's on a 16-year turn because I don't know when it's coming. Right? So, because I'm just saying, I think it's unfair to use the word recovered, ED, and not acknowledge that there is a working definition outside of the three of us sitting here of what recovery lifestyle. There's a definition for that. And I'm just saying, I don't think Chris fits in that definition. Not our definition of healthy lifestyle. I would argue you don't either. I think
based off of the way you're trying to delineate recovery versus healthy, But to me, like, I guess interchangeably in my mind, a recovery lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle. It's one and the same.
Well, but that's why I think people have a hard time when they're unwilling to use the word recovered. I think it's because they're afraid of arrogance. I think they're afraid of that if I say to someone, I'm recovered from my sexual addiction, what they're going to hear back from everyone is shame, shame, shame. There's no way you could be recovered. No one's over it. You think you're over temptation. You think you're,
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. Which also, to Chris's point, I think takes away anyone's confidence of actually ever being, one, completely sober and two, heart changed, right?
Yeah. No, I like the point you make because I think, for me, part of my recovery process or developing a healthy lifestyle process was, I kind of got mad that I couldn't live my unhealthy lifestyle and not face the consequences of my unhealthy lifestyle. I was mad that I couldn't well, no, I just want to kind of do the isolation and do all this stuff and just not have porn show up as a problem for me. Like, I was mad that I had to make that change and that transition.
A lot of people feel that way.
Right. I was like,
how long do I have to do this so I can go back to what I was doing?
And so for me, it was that aha moment of like, oh crap, I actually have to live a healthy lifestyle in order to enjoy the consequences of a healthy lifestyle. Like, otherwise I was going to have the consequences of an unhealthy lifestyle, which for me meant I was going to turn to porn. And that's why I think follow that through the recovery path, right? Which is why I think people who have a lot of sobriety and kind of feel frankly done with recovery have a hard time talking about it. We've interviewed some on the show, and we're like, cool, you're 5 years sober, so, what do you do? And they're like, oh yeah, I identify as someone in recovery. I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, you're just always growing, or you're always, So I do think there is of course you're on to the next thing. Like, so the analogy I use is like, hey, broken arm. Do I think that bone can be set, Jesus heals it, and my arm is now there? Would I say recovered, healed, ED? Yes, I would. Does that mean that I shouldn't go look at my broken leg? No. Does it mean I won't always be in my healing process or, seeing the
the
Sure.
great physician, right? Or doing. So I think that's the part that people get mistaken is, are you always going to have issues and needing to be recovering from something or entering a healthier lifestyle than you are today? Like the progression and growth, is that always happening? Yes.
Yeah,
I would argue yes.
if we believe in growth, human development and growth,
You believe in Jesus.
right, yeah, and repentance, right, change,
Yeah,
right?
last time I checked,
Yeah.
you know, you just
Right.
you keep trying to live in His grace more and more until you're
Right.
sanctified and meet Him, right? Like that. I'm just saying, I don't
Right,
know any
yeah.
Christians that don't believe that. They're like, I have no
Right.
intention of ever being in the presence of God. Thank you, right? So, but I think you can say, I think Chris can say, I am recovered, ED, from my sexual addiction, period.
Totally.
And I'm living a recovery healthy lifestyle and dealing with fill in whatever
Sure.
Chris is working on right now, right?
Right.
We've talked about different things you're ashamed
Busy
about right
or
now and
whatever.
working through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about busyness on the show and right. So
Oh, going back to the label I came up with, another one that I was like, dude, I hide behind fine a lot. Like I'm fine.
yeah.
I hide behind that label so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, check out that episode. Whatever.
Whatever one
I
it
don't know
is.
the number, but yeah.
Labels. Live unashamed.
Yeah.
All right, so gentlemen, what is one thing you are recovered, ED, from?
Are you asking us or are you asking the audience that?
I'm asking us, obviously.
Okay.
You go
Speak-
first.
Speak from the eye.
Yeah.
No, I asked that question so I don't have to go first.
I know
James.
that's exactly why I pushed it back over there, because you do that to me all the time. It's like, boom, hurry, come up with an answer. So your turn.
We don't think as fast as Steve does.
Yeah.
I would say okay, I think I'll say this I think I am in the babyshipness of being recovered from my sexual addiction. I'm right now, this month at some point in time would be a year sober from masturbation and porn, 5 years and change from acting out with other women. And so, but I think the one I would name probably more clearly with a lot of confidence right now that I'm not recovering, I'm recovered, ED, I would say is my broken bone of church hurt. I feel like that one I'm ED.
You're in a good place there, and you're
it's recovered. I don't, because I did some work recently where someone was trying to pull it out of me, and I was like,
it's not there.
there's just not there.
Yeah.
We're done. That's done. That's
Yeah.
it, you know. No, let's put the cast back on your arm, and I'm like, the arm's fine.
Yeah.
We got to go to. There's other parts of my body that I think are still broken.
Yeah.
My church hurt for sure.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what to call this wounding, but feel free and recovered from basically that belief that God didn't love me, or like, and was disappointed in me. You know, shout out to Frankham in his book. You know, like that whole concept, and that's been a long work and a journey for me that was kicked off at boot camp. And but it's a place where, like, man, wondering whether or not God's good, like, that's done.
Yeah.
Like, that feels so healed in me, and man, was that a big wound. That was such a big place that needed healing for me, and it took a lot of time.
A lot of recovery.
A lot of recovery. Yeah.
Chris, wrap us up.
Yeah, I would say for me is I'm recovered from being not worthy enough for God to love me. Because there is nothing in me that even says you're not worthy of His love. Like, I absolutely know with every fiber of my being that He loves me for who I am.
And sexual addiction.
Yep.
Yeah, but we already talked
we
about
already-
that for
I-
like
that's why I
15
didn't
minutes
know.
or whatever.
So,
I think we got there.
So in Living Unashamed, those channel on the YouTube channel, put in the comments, hit us up on social media at Unashamed and Afraid. What else are you supposed to say? Like and
Watch
subscribe.
us on
and
YouTube.
all this. Yeah,
Come
watch
on
on,
YouTube
if you're not
now.
watching on YouTube, watch on YouTube. You can watch
Subscribe
us,
on
do all
YouTube.
things. Point being, I want to ask this question. I would invite anyone to have the audacity to reach out to us and tell us what you are recovered from. I think we can get a million emails of people being like, I'm in recovery from, and we do, which is great.
Yeah.
Right.
Get some hope in here, people.
What
Live
do you-
unashamed. What are you recovered from? What has God done in your life? Not what Red Sea is he gonna part. Which one did he part and heal you? Because I want to know.
And if you could do me a favor, put that on Instagram because that's the place I'm most likely to see it. I would appreciate that.
And if you would please accommodate James in his neediness.
Yes, please. That would be fantastic for me.
So
Unless you want to specifically email me, would love it. James at unashamedandafraid.com.
Or me.
and
but
join
Chris
James
at
fan
Unashamed and
club.
Afraid.
Yeah. No, you get plenty of emails.
Me,
Chris.
email
Stop.
me, email me.
No.
Jaren's like, turn it off. All right. You can be recovered, and you're going to be recovering too. And they're both a thing.
Yeah.
Just live it. Let it happen. And until we can be with you again, we invite you to be
Unashamed.